What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Free State Podcast, Cinco de Drinko special Friday episode. Scott, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How
Good,
are you?
good, good. So we took a hiatus last week. We just had a bunch of stuff going on and kind of regroup. How we're going to go about doing the podcast going forward now that legislation is done in Maryland, and we had some ideas, but we're not implementing any of them tonight because we're just going to drink and talk about some global issues, some national issues, and just hang out and have a couple drinks. Cheers! If you go to my Twitter page, I put I did something I might regret, maybe not. I actually put the link to the stream. So if you want to come on and hang out with us, go ahead and click the link for the stream, and I'll bring you backstage. And then if I know you or I like you, then bring you on. It'll be fun. Scott, anything going on new with you, brother?
Not too much. Yeah.
Same shit, different day.
Yeah, just been working on getting my yard in order, doing some gardening stuff, trying to get my hot plants ready to be
Pot
planted.
plants? Pot
Yeah.
plants?
Yeah. I got some rhizomes that came in yesterday. So I had previous versions that I had planted that I was different varieties that I'd planted that I dug up and I'm just starting fresh. So
No, you say pot plants like weed?
Hop
plants. Gotcha.
Like
okay.
they go in beer. Yeah, same family,
okay.
different plant.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, cool. Actually just got some tomato plants today. So once I get the manure down this weekend, then they can live in the pot for a little bit longer. Actually got it's a Cherokee purple heirloom tomato. So we'll see how that goes. I actually get my tomato plants from the feed store where I get all my chicken stuff. And it's an old guy. He's like super old that does the tomato or all the plants there. And he has been growing the same strains, I guess you call them, breeds of tomatoes. I'm not sure what the proper name for them is. In Anne Arundel County for like 50 or 60 years. So they're like meant for like the sandy soil that we have here and stuff. That's where I got my tomato plants from last year, and they were just, oh my gosh, like thinking about those BLTs last summer, it makes my mouth water. They were so goddamn good.
Yeah, that sounds nice. The terroir, I can never say the word right. The terroir, the soil. It's talked about a lot with like winemaking, but it's also like going back to hot plants, it's pretty important. Like, I buy certain varieties, but just because I grow that variety, it doesn't mean I'm going to get the same flavors and aromas from the hop cones that I would get if they were planted in Michigan or Washington State or
right.
Yeah.
Now with hops, so you grow them and is the hop the flower of the plant? Like what
yes.
you use for beer? Okay. Do you like dry them out or do you like put them in raw?
You can use them raw. Wet is the term.
Okay.
But you can also dry them out. So when I've done it before, I've only gotten one successful crop from it. And I dried them out. There's a lot of breweries that do like hop harvests, like and I think one of them is in Oregon. I think the name of the beer is Fresh Squeezed. It's a big Deschutes, I think is the name of the brewery. And I think they use wet hops for that. And yeah, so but the drying them out lets you, if you're using them fresh, wet, you got to use them fresh, like right away. Okay. Drying them out lets you store them, and like what I'll do is I'll dry them out. I'll put them in like a food saver bag and vacuum seal them and stick them in the freezer, and that way I can use them a few months after harvesting them or whatever.
Nice. That's hops are interesting to me because they're in the same family as cannabis, correct?
Yeah.
Which so they're in the same family as tomatoes. So are they considered? I guess they're considered nightshades.
Mm.
I know tomatoes are nightshades, and cannabis is considered a nightshade. I don't know what a nightshade means. I don't think it has anything to do with night at all. I just think that's what they're called.
I know Tom Brady doesn't like them. They cause inflammation. Some
What tomatoes or nightshades?
nightshades.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Which I thought
Oh,
are peppers nightshades too, or
I
like bell peppers maybe.
let's
Or
see. Oh, you know what? Let's Google it. This is the plant happy hour right
yeah.
now. Nightshades.
It's just like the reason hops are used in beer is like a lot of the oils that you get from them have like a preservative antibacterial property to them. That's kind of how they came to be. In addition to the lovely flavors and aromas they contribute. But
See, I've always understood that like pepper is an anti-inflammatory. Nightshades. I'm trying to find a definition, but it says list of inflammatory nightshades.
yeah. Well, I'm thinking of like bell peppers, but maybe chilies are also included in that. But
So, just to name a few: tomatoes, potatoes, eggplants, jalapenos, habaneros, banana peppers, tobacco plants, tomatillos. I don't know what the fuck any of these are. Petunias. I think that's just a flower. Apple of Peru. I don't see cannabis on here though. But from what I understand, cannabis and tomatoes are in the same family. But potatoes are nightshades. Interesting.
yeah.
So I guess the one bit of Maryland news that's kind of worth talking about, and I'm searching it as we speak right now, is Maryland Senator Ben Cardin is not going to be running for re-election.
Yay! Does that mean we're gonna get somebody better?
Oh no, probably not. There is this Twitter page that I follow. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It's they. I actually have gotten into it with them on Twitter before. They're like
Ben
left
Cardin?
lean. No, not Ben Cardin.
Oh, the Twitter page. Sorry.
Yeah, the Twitter page. It's called Maryland Politics Hangout, and they're like kind of left leaning, but like the good left, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, not the mainstream left.
Right. They're anti-corruption and stuff like that. And I think the person who runs it is in Montgomery County because they talk about Montgomery County a lot. But they've been following potential candidates that are going to run for his district, which is
well, it's the entire state of Maryland, but
is it the entire? Oh yeah, it is the entire state.
It's the Senate, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
But the previous occupant for that seat before Ben Cardin was John Sarbanes Sr. So
yeah,
and I expect his son might try to reclaim his chair.
You know what? If he does, and then Eurypsy Morgan runs again for our district, that's cool. That's cool with me.
It's hard to know. Like, well, I don't know. Were you going to bring up that Twitter page to talk about whatever they were saying?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find who they are suspecting is going to run so far. I mean,
I can share what my thoughts are.
Yeah, go ahead.
So obviously John Sarbanes, he's District 3. He's my representative. Is he yours too? Are you in District 3?
Yep.
Yeah. And the previous representative for District 3 was Ben Cardin, who's the retiring senator. He left that to take his father's, John Sarbanes Sr.'s seat, a Senate seat. And I forget where I was going with this. Yeah, so it's like, but it's the thing with John Sarbanes though is I don't really see him as like a progressive Democrat. He's on the health and I forget what the name of the committee is in the House, the Health and Human Services, and that's kind of one of his focuses is healthcare issues. And he's not one of those guys that's really out there in the media a lot, kind of like a Jamie Raskin, who you see on cable news all the time, kind of an activist attitude.
Well,
And it's
that's one of the people that this Twitter page is figuring
yeah.
out is if they're probably going to run as Raskin.
So it's a question of who's going to win out. Is it going to be the activist Democrats that, whoever wins the primary is going to win the seat, right? It's going to be a Democrat. And it's really comes down to, is it going to be the activists, kind of, progressives from Montgomery County and that area? Are they going to win out? Is it going to be more of the, the party apparatchiks who, wait their turn and, climb up and take the seat the next time it's available? That's kind of like what John Sarbanes is. And then there's also David Trone, who's the Congressional District 6. He's got a lot of money. He's made a lot of they own Total Wine, if you know what Total Wine is.
Oh yeah, that's a big operation.
Yeah, so he's got money, which is important for statewide races. Maybe not so important in Maryland when you're running as a Democrat. So it might not be as big of a deal. So it's gonna be an interesting primary to watch, and nobody's declared yet, but I feel like those are kind of the three. And then also you'd expect there's going to be somebody from like PG County or Baltimore City, because let's face it, the three guys I just named, they're all white males. There's going to be other people entering the race that aren't that,
old white males.
Exactly. And those three guys could split the vote, and maybe somebody else that you don't expect wins. I don't know.
So I found this quote here. It's Raskin to Time. After 5 months of chemo, I'm taking the month of May to seriously investigate the 2024 election, the Senate, the House, and the role I can best play in democratic victory and progress in the country. So,
did he say what he's doing, or he just was stating this situation?
I guess stating the situation, okay. Kind of.
Yeah, because that's the other thing is he had like some kind of blood cancer, I think. I forget the exact thing. And he's treated successfully, but it could always, have a recurrence or something. And it's like, he's got a safe congressional seat. Yeah. Do you want to mess that up? Keep doing that role, risk, the health issues becoming an issue when you're running for the Senate. I don't know. Yeah.
I'm trying to skim
so I could see him not running because of those things and letting someone else take it. But yeah.
So there are already 3 candidates officially in the race to replace Cardin: U.S. Rep. David Trone and Montgomery County Council Member Will Jawando, both Democrats, and socialist philosopher Jerome Siegel, a perennial figure on the ballot in Maryland in recent years, have launched their Democratic primary bids. Both Jawando and Siegel are mounting long shot crusades, and Jawando has already said that he would instead run for Raskin's House seat if Raskin runs for Senate.
And that's kind of like the horse trading jockeying that happens there, right?
Exactly. Prince George's County Executive Angela Brooks is also expected to announce her campaign for the Senate seat in the coming days.
A lot of times too, like they'll run in the primary if not expecting it all to win, just to gauge support.
Yeah, right.
So, and the Jerome Siegel guy, I mean, you're familiar with him. He started the party, the Bread and Roses Party, which is kind of socialist third party here in Maryland. He's ran for governor, I think twice. Yeah.
Well, I know that a Democrat's probably going to win that race, let's be honest. But from what I understand, there are a couple libertarians who have expressed interest in joining that campaign.
Really?
Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
I would love to see it.
Us being actually, if you come out to the Anne Arundel County Libertarians meeting next week at Bellanopoly in Pasadena, we start at 6:00. both people should be there. So,
Oh,
mm-hmm.
I'll definitely be there because I don't know who those people are.
Me neither.
Yeah. Oh, really?
I don't know who they are. You know,
Oh, but they've reached out to you. Is that what you're
they
saying?
have reached out to our chair.
Ah, okay.
And our chair has relayed back to me that he has invited them to come to Anne Arundel County because we have regular meetings and our meetings, next week. So,
Cool. Look forward to that.
yeah. So, if you want to come out to Bellinopoly next week in Pasadena, Maryland, off Mountain Road, 6:00. We will not have a guest speaker next week. We are doing a beloved tradition that we have started doing every few months of doing debates. And as you may or may not know, libertarian debates are the best debates because we're not idiots and we actually know things and we can have good, fruitful debates. And you can actually change people's minds if you give them good information. So, cheers to debates, libertarian debates with a bunch of libertarians.
And we never agree in the end because we always find some minutia to disagree over.
Exactly. What's the old saying? You get 5 libertarians in a room, you get 6 different opinions. So
that number keeps going up because when I first heard it, it was 3 libertarians and 4 different opinions. So I don't know.
There's more libertarians now.
It's inflation. Thanks, Biden.
Bidenflation.
Yeah.
Speaking of Biden, this is a great transition. Is I saw something on the Twitter sphere, which be it as it may, is Twitter. That's where I
love Twitter. From. Sorry.
Yeah, I love Twitter. Everything else is garbage in comparison.
I'll just say, like, I avoided Twitter, and then I would watch just like cable news just to like kind of see what everyone's. And then I noticed they were just showing tweets and reporting on them.
Well, that's like, usually
why am I watching you? Why I just go directly to the source?
Right. It's like that is like a primary source of information. It is because it's either people that are actually causing the story to happen, or it's people that are like, oh, I'm standing right here and this shit's going down.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's a lot of bad information, but there's a lot of real information. So sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you can't be an idiot. You gotta do your due diligence of triple checking things, but
otherwise you'll fall victim to Dennis.
Yes. I think all of us have fallen victim to Dennis at least once. He got me. Who did he get me with? Shit, I can't remember. He got me a couple months ago, and I've been following Dennis for years. And he, it's as long as you click on the profile, you see the bio, and you're like, oh, it's fucking Dennis. But Dennis got me a couple months ago, and he got you. Not who he got somebody. One of us. Like
I think he got. I forget.
Was it his? Yeah, he is the ultimate troll. That is. Yeah.
If you don't know who he is, then you haven't been on Twitter long enough, and you'll find out eventually.
Yeah, if you're anywhere near the Liberty Sphere, you will find Dennis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, you were transitioning to Twitter. Sorry.
Yeah. I would like to get him on the show. I don't know if he does. I don't think he's done a podcast. Not that I know of. I would love to have him on.
Gotta stay anon.
Yeah, he can say anon, just his voice. So speaking of, I don't know what we were talking about, but this is what I want to talk about. As of 5 hours ago, U.S. President Joe Biden's administration plans to send $500 million worth of weapons aid to Ukraine? No, not Ukraine. Taiwan, using the same emergency authority that has been used more than 35 times for Ukraine, a source familiar with the plan said on Friday. So what happened last time when President Trump sent weapons to Ukraine? War broke out. So is this the war with China that everybody's been wanting, that everybody in Washington has wanted? Is this it? Is this going to be the catalyst in order for China to start invading Taiwan?
I don't see it going down the way that the Ukraine has yet. I think this is just them just pushing the line. They're just gonna keep just pushing, and just seeing how much they can get away with. And that's basically what happened with Ukraine was, they've just kept gradually just doing these little incremental steps.
Yep.
And eventually they just said, hey, we're not going to take any more because we see what you're doing.
Yeah. I don't see it as a catalyst to war,
No,
but
not yet.
not yet. But look, let's the whole Ukraine war started, you could say the catalyst started back in 2014. And here we are in 2023 and over a year into this war. And so it could be the start of it if it hasn't already started gearing towards war. I just find it odd that we would do this in a time where China has flown some planes and sailed some ships into Taiwan's airspace and waters.
That's one of those things that specific thing though is where there's a dispute about what the actual line is. There's the international, there's their territorial waters versus what's their economic waters, and it's like that strait, is not. There's, I guess, it's dispute over what is that, what would actually constitute like violating their airspace versus violating their economic exclusive zone, I guess are the terms, right? So it's it's like when I see that, like they talk about, oh, they were flying close to the island, it's like, yeah, they're still out over the water. They're not, but they say that they're violating their territorial integrity, makes it sound like they're flying over the actual land, but no, I don't know.
So this, and what's weird is it could just be the timing of it, but I was just kind of the veil lifted or whatever, informed that something that nobody is talking about when it comes to illegal immigrants, quote unquote, whether you agree or not, they should be called illegal. That's a different conversation to have. But there have been a historic number of Chinese immigrants crossing the U.S. border without papers in the recent months. And a lot of them are males of military age. Look, I am not trying to war hawk China because I think it's stupid people do that. But it's not to say that there aren't some things afoot, right? We had the big arrest in New York City the other week ago with the police station, the Chinese police station in New York City, which has been known about for months. And then we have U.S. sending money to Taiwan, or military aid. I don't think it's money. I think it's actual military aid. And then an unprecedented number of illegal Chinese immigrants coming through the southern border that just are mostly males of military age.
Also, that's the same age as working age, right?
Yes, it is.
I mean, is Mexico about to invade us? I don't.
But the reason that I do question the intent of these people is because mainstream media has talked about it, but they haven't put it out there. They have written articles on it. I have an NBC article right here saying that they are doing this to escape economic and government oppression. If mainstream media news sources are talking about government oppression, they're just making it up, because where's our government oppression in our own country? They never talk about that.
No, but they love talking about it when it comes to some other government. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. But at the same time, things are a little bit different now. And with Twitter kind of having a little bit more free speech than previous, this could get called out easily. So it's ballsy to say this. At least I think we can agree on that. This article is from March 29th. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection reported that in the past 5 months, at least 4,300 Chinese undocumented migrants have been apprehended crossing the southern border, which amounts to more than double the number for all the previous years. One immigrant spoke anonymously to MSNBC about his experience, saying he feared staying in China after speaking out against government corruption. Fearing further retribution after being jailed twice, he fled, following instructions left by those before him on Chinese social networking apps. Detailed guides, videos, and maps help him make his way to the journey largely on his own. There's a lot of information. Trust me, he said, step by step. So you're telling me the government that has complete and utter control over every social media in their country is allowing these articles, videos, whatever they may be, of step by step instructions to leave their country? I find that hard to believe. So, forgive my cynicism in this and my kind of war hawkishness. I guess you could even say it, because something ain't right. Right? It's not the Chinese government. They're not leaving because of the Chinese government. I think there's something else afoot. And
Are you
then,
suggesting that they're sending their best?
yeah, probably.
Okay.
They probably are. They probably are. So yeah, so that's that. And then while we're talking about China all the time,
Yeah.
there was an alleged assassination attempt on Vladimir Putin. I think we've all heard about that. We watched the video, and it's kind of funny about that little like firework explosion, but the Kremlin is saying that it was done by the Ukraine and it was the United States idea. This could lead to a buildup in Russia's attacks on Ukraine, and it has already kind of started, actually, because there has been massive. I'm going to bring it up here. There has been massive incendiary rounds, Russian rounds.
Incendiary.
Yes, thank you. In Bakhmut. So let me bring that up real quick.
Yeah, I think I saw this earlier, and I was like, that looks really fake. I don't, but I didn't.
It very
look into
well
it enough
could be
beyond
fake.
that. So,
But music, let me turn this down. It's like some Skyrim battle music.
right. Also, 2022. It's 2023.
Yeah. So it could be fake. Completely be fake. But
Yeah.
Shush. But yeah, so there's that potential that there is actual blowback from whatever that may have been, whether it be a false flag, which it very well could be. Here we go.
Well, I was like, I don't know if you're following
I like
like
this
the
comment.
yeah. I don't know what that. I saw that one. I didn't know what it means. Guess because I don't have those special moves, so I don't understand.
You're not Chinese. You don't have those moves. You wouldn't know.
No, but like I guess it was a few days, maybe 5 days ago. There was that Ukraine had that attack on they blew up an oil depot on in Crimea, and then the next night it was like bombs away from Russia, and it's just like the whole conflict is just it's not going anywhere. It's going to last a long time if adults don't actually just come together and say, hey, let's work this out. I don't, it's like, I don't.
Well, I mean, and this is following like a moment of positivity when President Xi had the phone call with Zelensky, and they were both saying the phone call went well. And then we have this happening, which could, reiterate the possibility of it being a Russian false flag, which is very possible. But yeah, we're in a weird place. We got, obviously Russia and Ukraine are at war. Now the U.S. is sending military aid to Taiwan after, multiple incursions on their sovereignty, their air and the sea. So, oh, and then banks failing in the United States left and right.
Yeah. Kramer's calling them all. Watch for Kramer to say they're safe. He's got them. I jokingly texted some friends that I was like, the conspiracy theorist in me makes me want to think, maybe it's like one of these Q things where it's like, hey, maybe Jim Kramer is really on our side and he's trying to stealthily communicate to us which is the next domino to fall.
Man.
I just
did you see
plausible. That? I mean, his track record's so pristine, it's plausible.
It's so pristine in the wrong ways that it's very possible.
Yeah.
He could be the Illuminati. He very well could be.
Well, he could be our guy on the inside. That's what I'm saying, I don't know.
I shared this meme. Let me see if I can find it. I shared this meme the other day. Oh, here it is. Let me see if I can.
Yes, I am Elon Musk with a beard. Sorry.
Let me see. I don't know if I can share this. Let me see. Here we go. Is that coming up? Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, but I don't know.
It's wrong. It's wrong.
I don't know. There was sorry. Did you want to say anything more about this?
No, I just wanted to share it. Because we're talking about Jim Kramer.
Yeah. I mean, did you want to transition to this story though?
No, not really. I just wanted to bring it up
because there was a Reddit comment from like 9 years ago.
Oh, I did see that. That. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Do you have that handy or?
Let me see if I can find it. I think it was Miles. What's his name?
It was like on the NYC Reddit. I just, I have an opinion on that. It's on this, and it might not be, popular or whatever, but it's like, well, we don't have any video of like what preceded. Yeah, nobody starts recording until the action starts happening. Nobody was recording what he actually said or did. It's all hearsay, and apparently he was being threatening and talking about a lot of things. But what I reading what people said he said, it sounds to me like he was like somebody that was kind of institutionalized and doing a cry for help. And it's like, if somebody had just kind of like tried to reason with him first and just tried to help him out, but it's like maybe he was beyond help. I don't know, but
right. Really fucking small.
But it's like if you've seen Shawshank Redemption, right, where it's like the Brooks character, where he's like institutionalized, he gets out and he's just like all he wants to do is just get back in because at least he's being taken care of, and it's like, yeah, it's just stuff like that. It's just rough. But yeah, it was like this Reddit comment. This is on Reddit, and I was like, I didn't believe the screenshot at first. I went and found it on Reddit too. It's from like 9 years ago, and it was like, it's like, how long has this guy been going along the subway, like just freaking people out? Right?
Yeah. So I have it right here. It says the title is "Try to Stay Away from the Michael Jackson Impersonator if you see him."
Yeah.
Used to be all cool, dancing to MJ in the subway train, but as of late, he's become a maniac. Sometime in late spring, early summer, I saw him in the train. His radio fucked up, and he was angry as fuck, cursing and bad-mouthing commuters, screaming, "What the fuck are you looking at? Don't fucking look at me." Totally didn't expect him to act as such. Ever since that day, he's just been a scary dude to me. He doesn't dress up anymore. No more dancing, just ask for money, occasionally shouting obscenities. Today, however, was odd. Sometime in the morning, on my way to school, I'm sitting on the bench and out of nowhere, hear someone just going off, cussing up a storm. It was the MJ dude. Everyone besides this guy was quiet. MTA crew was there, but did nothing and just let him continue, I guess, and say, continue to blow his gasket. Train arrives and I just get in the car. He's not in because, sorry. And I just get in the car. He's not in because I'm sure as fuck not getting in the same car as him. Dude didn't even wait till he got inside the train. I was scared for the people next to him out of fear that someone was going to fall on the tracks. Just avoid the guy at all costs. Try not to look at him at all. Stay safe. So yeah, this guy has had a history for, if this was 9 years ago, like it's saying, of being mentally unwell. And
Do you know more about his background too?
No, I don't. I've looked at very little of this story, to be honest with you.
Yes. So he's 30 years old. So 9 years ago, he would have been 21 years old. When I think it was when he was 14 years old, his mother was murdered by his stepfather. In a way that he was like he was going to school and wanted to say goodbye to his mother, and his stepfather prevented him from doing that. And when he came back home from school, his stepfather had packed up and moved out. And, so it's obviously, and that was pretty a tragic thing to happen to somebody that age. Right. So it's like, obviously this guy, he's got a lot of problems, not of his own making, and it's unfortunate. Right. But, it's just, but like, this is just like a great case of, or not a great, I don't like saying great case, but it's just an example of like people expect the government to take care of these kinds of people. Like, if you think about 14 years old, you lose your mother or something like that. But really it's, people around him that know, need to step in and help him and take care of him. I don't know. It's just really tragic. I don't know.
Yeah, we had a comment on YouTube, made of rubber. Thanks for watching, by the way. People institutionalize their own people instead of forming a grant for the community to help lower rent and bills. And, that he's right. I mean, look, as libertarians here, we don't like government grants, but in order to get to a place where we would feel comfortable with minimizing government to an extent that we wish, it's going to take community action. And that's what didn't happen. I mean, I imagine this guy lived in the same relative community for the majority of his life. And it seems that nobody has ever helped this guy.
Right.
They were just, like you were saying, relying on the government to take care of this kid,
expecting somebody else to do it.
Exactly. It's it's like the innocent bystander. Was it the innocent bystander effect or something like that? I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's people expecting other people to do something, and then nobody does anything and nothing fucking happens, and that's when the government steps in
and spirals downward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's a great example of this. It's a great example of people not having the balls to step in and help somebody. Or check in on somebody at minimum, and expecting the government just to do it for them. And this is what we end up with. We end up with this guy getting killed, and I don't know why he got choked to death, but he's dead. And who's to say this guy couldn't have gotten help?
Yeah, right.
And
like I said, like, they said that his statements prior were, he was hungry, he's thirsty, he's tired, and he's what else did he say? They said he was I'm blanking the next thing. Sorry. He didn't care, but he was like, I'm gonna hurt somebody, I don't care about going back to jail. That sounds to me like he wanted to go back to jail because at least he be taken care of. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't like.
Yeah.
It's hard to
Well,
get in the head of something like that, but it's like at the same time, it's like until he actually takes, he was speaking very aggressively and being threatening in his words, but was he actually being aggressive in action? I don't know. And it's like if somebody could have just said, "Hey, man, I hear you. Can I help you?" It's like would that have been a completely different situation? I
right.
don't. And it's like the guy choking him out, and it's like there's all the focus on the guy that choked him out, and it's like I think that there's a lot more to this case that should get attention.
Right.
The
Well,
preceding 15 years versus the 15 minutes.
exactly.
I don't.
And everybody's, all the progressives are focusing on the white guy who was choking him out.
Yeah,
And there
and
was a Asian guy and a black guy that helped the white guy kind of subdue him. Um,
yes,
so it's like it's not a racial thing, it's like a decency thing. But because the reason that he was, not a decent person was because he had trauma and it was never addressed.
right.
I work in PG County, and there's this guy who he's schizophrenic. He's got to be schizophrenic. He will, talk to people that aren't there. He'll try to fight people that aren't there. He walks an imaginary dog. He's yelling and stuff like this guy is schizophrenic. Like, who's to say that this guy couldn't be a member of society, doing good if he was cared for, if somebody cared for him, if he got medicated, or if he went to an institution for the time and then had medication and things like that. So, it's a failure, definitely a failure on the government, but also a failure in society because, like we were saying, it's allowed society become complacent and expect the government to fix these problems when they historically either their fix, quote unquote, is dreadful or they don't do anything at all. So I think I'm with you. The government failed this guy, as they do a lot of people with mental health issues.
I think too. It's like it's also hard. The people that were around him or knew him. They're probably had limited resources.
Yeah,
So it's like you don't want to put blame on them. But it's like at the same time, it's like just if you have the ability to help someone and they're in trouble, help
right.
them out, right?
And I don't like the narratives that are being proposed yet. Like I thought that meme was funny, but at the same, like, when reality sets in, like there's two narratives that are going on, but both narratives are wrong. One narrative, they're both, I guess you could say it's the same narrative, really, because it's a racial narrative on both sides. Whether it's a white boy killed a black dude, or it's this crazy black person, was, pushing women and shit like that, and being
Yeah.
a nuisance, and he deserved it. Like, no, that's not the issue. Like, yeah, the issue is that the government says they're going to take care of this shit and they fucking don't, time after time, right? And I'm not saying that we need to reopen, statewide institutions and throw these people in these institutions and, hide the key, throw away the key, just let them fucking rot in these institutions, because there's been, historic documentation of the you know the way these people had to suffer. They didn't live, they suffered when they were in these government ran institutions. um but as it stands, the government is supposed to do this kind of stuff and they failed. The government is the reason this guy died, ultimately, because they failed him. they
Yeah.
they let him stay on the subway for how long? I mean, this Reddit post was from 9 years ago, and he's still on this in the subway
And he had a
every single
long
day.
he had a long record too of like misdemeanors charges, but I get the impression a lot of them were fair jumping and things like that. And I know that's been a big thing in New York where it's like they don't want to prosecute those things because they're pretty small, offenses in the grand scheme of things. and they don't want to like trip people up on that. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, you're letting anyone and everyone in, and it's like, and that's what's causing these problems where, yeah, if he hadn't been allowed to like, fair jump and get in the subway at will, like maybe he would have been out somewhere else where this wouldn't have happened to him.
Yeah.
And the people that are pushing people onto the tracks, that
Mhm.
wouldn't be happening if they enforced, if they had people that were actually enforcing the fares.
Exactly. Yep.
Which the fares are cheap. They're subsidized heavily.
Yeah. So,
Like I used to work in DC and I would take the metro, and it was very frequent where I would be going in or out, and I would have some usually a young male person, follow me very closely behind and go through the turnstile on my car, and I'd notice it happening, but like I'm like, all right, I'm whatever. I don't want. It's not worth my trouble to deal with. But it's like, yeah, it happens, and it's like, I don't know. I don't know where they're trying to get to, or what they're, obviously they're not trying to get to school, because I think in DC, school kids get free fare, or at least some, or whatnot. But it's just, yeah, that happens. Like people jump the fares all the time. It's just not enforced.
we
Anyway,
went to the museums in DC not long ago,
yeah.
and I don't go to DC often. I just don't, and I haven't taken the train into DC for a while. So me and my wife and my son, we were going to take the train into DC to go to the museums for the day, and they have like the person at the machines to buy like your ticket, whatever, to like make sure like you're paying the proper fare, and you're going where you're going, whatever. And she like asked like my son's age, and I guess if they're like under 3 or something, they don't have to pay a fare, but if they're over 3, they have to pay a fare. And I was like, he's 5. And she said, well, you're supposed to buy him a ticket, but I'm telling you, don't buy him a ticket. Like so you work for
They're saying your kid passes for 3 years. They identify as a 3-year-old and they pass.
that. Exactly. I guess that's the legal way around it. But she literally told me not to buy him a ticket, just to scan it and let him walk through with you. And I was like, fuck, okay, that's fine with me. I the last thing I want to do is get harassed by any sort of authority at all. Right. And I get away with what I try to get away with what I can. It doesn't always work. Like when I have the FBI come to my fucking house. But
sorry, did you just admit to a misdemeanor?
No, I admit to nothing. Actually, she is the one that told me to do it. So
yeah,
she
if they told you it's okay, you're good. Okay.
Yeah, she told me it was okay. She told me I could do it. And actually, like, I guess there's a sensor to know when you pass, so it closes really quick. And every time he would go in
I haven't
front
ridden
of
in like 2 years, so I don't.
yeah, every time he would go,
3
like he would
years?
just be in front of us, because the going to DC, he was in front of me. Then coming home, he was in front of my wife, whatever. And it would like every time it closed on like me and my wife's hips, like because it closed super quick because he passed through, but it just opens right back up, and then you just fucking keep going. So who's not to say just to do that with your buds when you go to a Caps game or a Nats game or something. So
yeah.
One more thing I did want to talk about, and actually completely forgot about it until I saw it. Serbia is going to start disarming their population. They had a mass shooting not long ago. It was 8 children and a security guard killed in a Serbia school shooting. So the Serbian president said they're going to disarm the entire population.
You know what type of weapon it was?
I don't.
Was it an assault something? Sorry, I shouldn't make light about these things. But although Joe might tell me the other opposite.
It doesn't say, because in Serbia they don't care about what kind of weapon it is, because it's not some
all of them. We're taking them all.
Yeah, it seems like it's taking them all.
Yeah.
It says Serbia's interior ministry said Wednesday that a 14-year-old student opened fire at a school in Belgrade, killing 8 children and a security guard, while injuring 6 more children and a teacher.
Was the security guard armed?
I'm not sure. This is like a weird website. It's like some old school
Yeah.
type of forum thing.
It's hard to get information like
Yeah.
in English out of these foreign countries, right?
It says
Was the security guard wearing a tracksuit? That's the real question.
was he Slav squatting when this happened?
Yes. Or was the shooter? Maybe that's why he was so successful.
Well, if I had to guess, it wasn't a AR style firearm.
Yeah.
It was probably more along lines of an AK style firearm. Geez, I don't. This is like some forum. You got one person saying false flag. Everybody knows that kind of action only happens in gun-fueled rampages in U.S. schools. Thanks. NRA and American Gun Owners' Fault, or the Dung Beetle Party and its media toadies responsible for causing a copycat killing in Belgrade. Just asking for a friend. A 13-year-old killing 8 of his fellow students. Something is horribly wrong in the schools teaching the younger generations. I believe this can also be pinned on the global Communist Party. And I don't know what country these people commenting are from. Sudden jihad syndrome. One person says. Now the U.S. school shooting craze spreads to Serbia, even during the holy and blessed Pascha season. In some language I don't fucking speak. But yeah, they have very limited information. But Serbia, they're going to come take your gun. So good luck. Let us know how it goes so that we can prepare and learn from that.
You know, it's we're one day after May the 4th, right? And there was a good meme I saw yesterday where it was the showed the X-Wing fighters, and it was the X-Wings were the AK-47s and AR-15s. The Death Star was the nukes and F-15s, right?
Oh yeah.
And I wanted to reply to that one with Luke Skywalker lost his X-Wing in a boating accident. And then Yoda told him, "No, the fuck you didn't." So to the Serbs out there, if you have some lakes, you can lose your firearms in some boating accidents. I don't know.
Joe said no tracksuits involved from what he has seen.
No. Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, that has been a pretty dystopian Cinco de Drinko, but
yeah, it's dark.
That's what our world
dark
is
like my
now.
Beer. Yeah.
Yes, dark like your beer, and potentially gone soon like my beer.
Yeah.
So you have anything else you want to talk about, Scott? Anything you want to throw out there?
I'm good, man. I'm great. Did we ever talk about the drone strike? I feel like that was the one thing that we were
we talked about it, and then
maybe I forgot.
It turned into something else.
Yeah.
Is Vucic, I guess that's how you say his name, World Economic Forum, asked Joe. He has been making some strange decisions.
Yeah, he's the Serbian president. What's interesting is like, I don't know if you've seen this, followed this, but like a bunch of, like Tulsi Gabbard, Eye Patch McCain. I can't remember his name. He's Eye Patch McCain to me.
Yeah, Eye Patch McCain. Yeah, it's
we don't need to know his name. But like all these like Congress people were listed on the World Economic Forum, like young upcoming young global leaders thing.
Yeah,
and they're all like, no one ever asked me about being listed there. I don't know how I got listed there. So I'm like, I don't know if this is like just World Economic Forum's like grifting and trying to like just get glom onto people before they are on the come up, or if they're just like disavowing. I don't know.
I think it's the latter. I think it's people that were okay with being considered in that position.
And I just don't remember.
I don't remember saying that. I remember agreeing to it.
Okay.
That's what I think personally. Let me see if I can find, because they have Partners. Here we go. I'm on the World Economic Forum website right now. I look at it from time to time.
I just
who's-
like seeing the way some of like people in the libertarian space operate, like specifically the was it the Libertarian Policy Foundation or Institute, whatever the hell they're called.
Who are you talking about? StarWorks?
Yeah,
Oh,
where they're like they're
God.
all about, you know, anyone we can get listed on our website just to like make it seem like we're more important than we are.
Right.
I get that impression from also get that impression from the World Economic Forum, just, you know, and it's like, hey, let's just list these people until they tell us otherwise.
Right.
I don't know.
Let's see if I don't know how it's gonna. It's hard because they label. It's so much easier to find the companies.
Yeah.
Than like the actual like people.
Yeah.
It says unicorns. What's a unicorn? What the fuck does that mean? Huh.
All right. I don't know if you saw what Joe just said.
A member of the Serbian Progressive Party, pretty sure. Oops, sorry.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that answers that. Yeah, pretty much answers it.
So you're saying he's doesn't wear a tracksuit?
Not based.
Oh.
What is this unicorn? Look, all of our partners filter by partner type. What the fuck is a unicorn? What the fuck does that mean?
I don't know.
Some ESG bullshit. Unicorn. That's interesting. I want to look into that. But
for next show.
We'll look into what unicorns means for the World Economic Forum. Well, with that being said, everybody, if you work for a corporation, look into their ESG page, because I'm sure they have it. Put in your company name with ESG and it will come up, and you should be pleasantly surprised with the bullshit that they say. I do it quite regularly, just to make sure that, you know, they are as bad as I assume they are, and the sooner I can get out, I'm trying. But living in Maryland, we have
limited a captive job market.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So actually, me and my wife have started the process of moving down south, and we want to get farm property and just live off the land and be fucking libertarian hippies and homeschool our kid and stuff like that. So see how much longer I'm in Maryland. Hopefully.
Are you going to invite others to your commune?
Well, if more want to join us, then we can get more property. So yeah. I'm just putting it that way.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So
it's a good way to operate a commune. You know?
Yep, exactly.
You got to buy in yourself. Yeah.
Buy in a capitalist commune. I don't know. We need to find a new name for communes, because like a core libertarian idea, like a commune is great, but it's not.
It's voluntary.
Yeah, our voluntary commune. Let's just do it that. So if you want to join the voluntary commune, hit me up. Let's do it.
Yeah. For it to be truly voluntary, there needs to be a mechanism for withdrawal, right? And
yes,
that's kind
absolutely.
Of the problem with copying, you know. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So you know, keep that in mind. We're looking down south. We're looking at the Carolinas, Georgia, Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, and Tennessee. So that great area of the country that has remained based for a very long time. So with that, all I can ask you guys, and I've realized I never ask this, I never say it, but please like the Twitter page, the Facebook page, subscribe on YouTube. If you listen on Spotify or Apple, please give us a 5-star review, help the algorithms. If you feel so inclined, leave a comment on Spotify or Apple reviews. That jumps it up even more. With that, I have nothing else to say. Scott, how about yourself?
I think I've said it all.
We said it all. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us on Cinco de Drinko. Apparently, Mexicans actually don't even celebrate this holiday. It's just another excuse for us Americans to drink. And I thank them for that, because any excuse to drink is a great day to me. if you're in Anne Arundel County or in Maryland, come hang out with us next week at the Anne Arundel County Libertarian meeting. Come debate with us. If you're not a libertarian, even fucking better, because we can actually, debate somebody that doesn't mostly agree with us, except for like single issues. So please come hang out with us. Bella Napoli, food is amazing. We get well taken care of there, much better than our previous spot. And with that, I say happy Cinco de Mayo, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening, guys. See ya.
Have a good night.